Hi, I'm Lady Cat. You might know me better as Admiral Cat of Admiral Cat's Trek Quest, where I do progressive reviews and deep dive analyses of all things Star Trek. Welcome to my new channel, Lady Cat's Dungeon Quest, where I step into the holodeck, as it were, to enjoy some Dungeons and Dragons. And today we're going to be playing Champions of Krynn, a Dragonlance fantasy role playing epic Volume 1. I want to say I love this series. I actually started out when I was a kid playing the third game in the series, The Dark Queen of Krynn, which I was usually able to make some headway in back then, but lately when I try to play it, I can't get past the first battle. So I figured we would try starting at the beginning of the series, and we're gonna make our characters here, starting with a half-elven knight. Guess knights have to be lawful good. He's a knight of the crown, and I'm not in love with these stats, so we're gonna reroll them until we get something I'm happy with. I like to try to get an 18 in my primary stat if I can. Um, oh shit. Oops. Alright, so I accidentally accepted the stats and had to finish making the character, but I don't have to save them, so let's start over. Gonna go again with a half elf. Male. Can make it a knight. And let's see if we can get some. Oh, there we go. Right off the bat. I love it when you've got a parentheses in the strength. I don't know quite what that means. I think it's like a percentage of the way up to 19, but whatever. This is second edition. And we're gonna name him Sir Bronn, after Sir Bronn of the Blackwater from George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. Um, Named him Sir with an I instead of an E because this is not Westeros, this is Krynn, and they don't spell Sir with an E in Krynn. And now we're gonna see what we can do about this character spread. I want to kind of give him like a two-handed sword, maybe, instead of the sword and shield. Although I don't know what kind of weapons we'll be using for him to start off with, but there we go. Nice two-handed sword. Let's change the colors a little bit here. I'm pretty happy with the head because he's got, you know, medium length hair and a beard. It's very brawn looking, but I want to change the hair color here, make it black. I love that in these early games in the series, at least in this game, I haven't played the second game, Death Knights of Krynn, at all yet. Um, but I love that at least in this first game, Champions of Krynn, you can customize your sprites so much. The sprites in the Dark Queen of Krynn, you'll see when we eventually get to that, if I ever manage to make it through this game. Um, because I have no idea how long it is. I have never played a gold box game all the way through. Uh, but we'll see if we get to the Dark Queen of Krynn, how the sprites in that game are they have a lot more love put into them, it feels like. There's more like beautiful color variation in them, and they're all kind of very unique, whereas these are like you're putting together parts, like you've got the head and then you've got the bodies that go along with the different weapons, which are mostly the same body, unless you get like the robe type body with like the skirt at the bottom instead of the pants, which I think is good for mage classes. But I love that even though these sprites don't seem to have as much depth of color or love put into them, I think maybe they're even a little bit smaller in resolution, that they are customizable, at least in the sense that you can choose your own head, you can choose your own weapon, you can choose the colors of everything. It's really great. All right, so we've got Braun. We're gonna go ahead and add him to the party, and we're gonna make our second character. Um, we're gonna make a character of mine that's kind of part of a duo. It's a brother and sister that go together. Um, Kind of an odd duo, a paladin and a necromancer. We're gonna make him a Sylvanesti elf. Um, we can't pick paladin in this one. You can make an elven paladin in in the Dark Queen of Krynn. I'm not sure if paladin is even a class you can use for humans in Champions of Krynn, but in most second edition paladins had to be human, so we're just gonna make him a fighter cleric of the god Paladine, who is the good god and the god of elves in Krynn. Um, nice stats there. I think we might be able to do a little bit better on the whole, so maybe not. These are good enough. I want to get like I need the wisdom in addition to the strength, and I can't get them both necessarily maxed out, but we'll take just a high strength and a high wisdom. That's good enough for me. In the Dark Queen of Krynn, you can actually completely customize your stats. You can give every character an 18 in every ability score if you want to. I've never done that before because it just feels a bit like cheating. Whereas just editing them a bit seems like it's part of the system, and I always lower some of the stats too, specifically because I love when I have characters that I brought in from pen and paper D&D. I love to see if I can actually give them the exact same stats as they had in pen and paper, and you can do that really easily with the editing system in the Dark Queen of Krynn. In this, you just get to re-roll, and you just kind of have to take your best roll, but whatever. This is the head that I just use for elves in this game because he's got ears and long hair. Um, this is the brother Artharion, and he has dark blue hair. Uh, I think I like the colors well enough on the rest of him. I don't know if I'm really gonna change anything here. I mean, the skin tone is fine. I like the green. Just make it a little lighter green, maybe. And the blue pants are it's okay. It's kind of default, but this is fine. Um, we're gonna add him to the party. I think most of this video is probably going to be character creation, but we're gonna see if we can at least like get started adventuring and win a battle too. All right, our next character is going to be a mountain dwarf. We're gonna make her female. So I love having a bunch of female characters in my party because I'm a woman. Um, Maybe chaotic good. I'm a Drist fan. Maybe that's why I love the chaotic good alignment. These are good stats, and we're gonna name her Freya after the Norse goddess of. I just know she's a Norse goddess. Not the best pagan in the world. Actually, former pagan. I'm agnostic now, but I was pagan for a while. So I got into pantheons a bit. I actually got into pantheons when I was a kid, as I was raised Catholic. But my father had the deities and demigods second edition book, and it had all sorts of pantheons in it, like real world, mythological. So and um, as well as like some fantasy mythology pantheons. I want to color her like red and black, maybe. Yeah. Let's see if I can find more of a red, because that's kind of a brown red. It could really go either way, but that's the only red we have. So that'll have to do. Um, Not a whole lot of colors to pick from in these early gold box games. You can give her gray hair, like steel gray. Um, I think we're gonna make her shield gray, maybe. Yeah. Let's see what kind of gray and black options we have here. That black will look nice. Just make maybe the legs and the arms black. So it's like she's got black underclothing and a red tunic, I suppose. And I think playing these games, I think because I'm obviously not just going to play this game, I'm going to be playing some Forgotten Realms games as well. I think my idea for these characters is that they're gonna start out in their home world of Krynn. They're gonna fight their way through this Krynn series, and then at the end of that, they're gonna go on like multiversing adventures and somehow hop over through Sigil if you're familiar with Sigil from the Planescape um uh campaign uh to or setting, I suppose is the word I'm looking for, to Faerun for the Forgotten Realms games. There's just so many more of them than there are of the Dragonlance games, which I feel like is kind of a shame because I think I've read the Dragonlance books, starting with I did not start with Dragons of Autumn Twilight because we did not have that one at my high school library. We had Dragons of Winter Night and Dragons of Spring Dawning, so I started with Dragons of Winter Night. After I had read that, I bought myself a copy of Dragons of Autumn Twilight and started at the very beginning. Very good place to start. um, and I love these books. I feel like maybe The Lord of the Rings is obviously better writing, but Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman are not bad writers at all. And I think it's kind of cool that they literally just kind of took their tabletop sessions and made this epic fantasy story out of it. Uh, let's see who we're working on now. Oh, we're working on our Kender thief or rogue if you prefer later editions. I think rogue is a more polite word. Uh, Her name is going to be Honeydew for her blonde hair. These are some good stats. As long as we have that high dexterity, we're good. She's got like a blow dart gun. I'm gonna give her a hoop hack. Is that a hoop hack or is that a look more like a slingshot? Doesn't quite seem to have the staff bit at the end, so we're gonna keep looking here, see if there's a proper hoop hack. The Kender weapon of choice. I got staves, bows, weapons with and without shields. I guess we've come back around to the beginning, so I guess this is as good as it gets. I swear, it looks more like a slingshot than a hoop hack, but whatever. I just wish it had the iron shot staff bit sticking out the bottom. All right, let's get our colors in order here. Give her her blonde hair. I guess we'll do the body coloration first. I think I'm gonna dress her in purple because I think purple and yellow they complement each other. Well, I mean, of course they're complementary colors, so of course they complement each other. Um, there we go. Blonde hair. Character creation is just like For some people, it is the most fun part of the game. I don't think it's the most fun part of a D&D game necessarily, but it is fun. It reminds me of painting miniatures, which I used to love to do. God, it's been a while since I've painted a good mini. My favorite mini was for Delane. She's the Necromancer Artherion's sister, and I kind of I customized made her fig. I found a base fig that just looked like a good Necromancer figurine, and she's a fighter mage. So I found a rapier for her because that's her weapon of choice, and uh, I I think I got it from like a rogue figurine of some sort, and I just clipped it off with a set of clippers. And um, well, I'll talk about that a little bit more when I make her. But right now we're making our chaotic good cleric of Mashakal slash white robed mage. Of course, the magic system in Krynn is based off of the three moons of Krynn, which you can see at the top of the screen. It's a mouthful. Three moons of Krynn. Um, the white moon, Solinari, the red moon of neutrality, Lunatari, and the black moon of evil, Nuitari, which only the black robe mages can see. It's depicted as blue in this game so that you can see what phase it's in. But her name is Chrysania, and she is a Qualinesti elf, so she's gonna be a bit not. Well, I guess I didn't really make Artharion that pale, but she's gonna be a bit less fair of skin and gonna be blonde as a Qualinesti elf, and we're gonna give her a mace and a shield, and I I love in Icewind Dale using this one portrait for her, and we're gonna eventually play that. Um, and in that portrait, she's got a black dress and a blue cloak. So we're gonna go. I can't quite decide whether I want platinum blonde or yellow blonde, but I think yellow blonde is gonna be it for this game at least, because the white just looks white. Um, and really the yellow blonde just kind of looks closer because it's at least blonde. But we're gonna go with blue and black for her clothing, even though she is a white robe mage. She left her white robe at home for this adventure, I suppose. She's just wearing her clerical garments, which are blue and black. Don't know what Miss Shackle's preferred colors actually are, but like I said, I like that Icewind Dale portrait, so blue and black is gonna be what we go with here. I think she's done. We're getting there. We're almost there, and I think, yeah, the only character we have left to make at this point is Delane. Sweet. So we'll talk a little bit more about Delane's figurine. So I gave her a rapier from whatever rogue figurine I managed to clip it off of. Just stuck it on her side, like she's carrying it. She had her one hand outstretched, and I think I think she just kind of looked like she was spell casting, if I remember right. Um, let's see. She had a book on her body somewhere, uh, and like a coffin-looking pouch type thing on her leg. Um, the one arm was kind of custom positionable, so I put it in a nice outstretched pose. Um, and I got a base for her, which looked like it was just like a field of bones, uh, which was really nice. Um, and I got some skeletons, some little like they weren't like full standing skeletons. They were like skeleton pieces that you could kind of put together however you wanted to. Like you had the the rib cage and pelvis were one piece. Um, the arms and legs were. I think the arms were attached, but the legs were separate. And I don't remember if the head was attached, but they had you could position them a bit because they're just skeletons, so very skinny. White metal or gray metal or whatever you call that, not quite really pewter stuff that figurines are made out of. And position one of them coming out of the ground, grabbing her rear to lift itself up out of the ground. Uh, and then puts just some of the rest of the bones just kind of lying around on the ground. And I'm pretty sure the head was separate because in her outstretched hand, I put a skull. Which in the campaign that we did, it was fourth edition, and Necromancer is not a class in fourth edition. I don't think it's really properly been its own class in any edition of D&D. I think it's just more usually a wizard or a cleric who focuses on necromancy. She's chaotic neutral, so she's going to be a red-robed wizard of Lunatari. It's not that bad of a red. It is kind of brown looking, but I think it's good enough. And she is very pale as a necromancer. Um, just a bit touched by death. Um, and let's see. Yeah, in the campaign that I played her in, we homebrewed the class, and their implements were tomes, rods, and skulls. Skulls were just my favorite because casting through a skull is great. All right. At the end of the last home in Solace, a brave band gathers in preparation for a grim journey. The lands reconquered from the dragon armies are to be scoured of the last vestiges of evil. Joining you on the trip is an older knight of the Rose. He is introduced as Sir Carl Guardsson. His mission is to evaluate the outposts for the Council of Knights. Oh, I forgot during the War of the Lance, Solus was kind of destroyed, and all the Valenwood trees are now fallenwood trees. Once the company is organized, you begin the journey to the outposts. The party travels through Solamnia and arrives near Throttle. You're to be escorted to see the Commandant. Sir Carl greets you at the office. The Commandant and I are discussing some important issues. Your first mission is to patrol Throttle and report any suspicious activities immediately. Sir Carl continues, and you record it in the journal entry 51. Let's see here. All right. Journal entry 51. The worst monsters our scouts have reported anywhere in the area are hobgoblins. Draconians and evil dragons have long since abandoned this area to our forces. Still, be a little wary on your way to Throttle. Also, be sure to report back here immediately if anything unusual or dangerous occurs. This outpost depends on information brought back by patrols such as yours. Good luck, and may Paladine watch over you. I'm so glad that when you get these games on GOG that they include the Adventurer's Journal because you can't even start playing the game when you pick up a save without having to enter a code from the Adventurer's Journal. Um, it's early copy protection, I suppose. Let's see, where do you wish to go? They also include the manual, which is nice. Even if, I mean, as a seasoned D&D player, I don't really find it necessary. I started with second edition. It was my favorite until I played third, which was my favorite until I played fourth, and I have not played fifth or next or whatever you want to call it. Um, I think fourth is my favorite, but anyway, and they also include the clue book, which I don't think we're going to really use. One, because even though I always used the clue book as a kid when I was trying to play these games, um, and you obviously can find all the secrets and everything in the game that way, which is really fun. I don't like playing my first playthrough of a game these days with a walkthrough. If I get lost for a minute, I'd rather get lost for a minute and find my own way. Um, and also, it's just, since in this case the clue book is not a physical book but a PDF file on a computer, and I can't look at both the game and the clue book at the same time. It's distracting enough to have to switch windows to look at the adventurer's journal, so I just don't think we're going to use the clue books when we play these games. Just getting everyone equipped here. I don't know why I've decided to start pooling all of my money and giving everyone all the money, but I guess that's how we're gonna do this. Blue, let's not leave the money at the store. I've got 86 steel to work with. That should be enough to get everything we need, I think. Let's see. Let's get our fighter characters some ring mail. I think I started out getting leather armor uh for Braun. Not Braun. Braun already had plate. That's right. Knights start with their own equipment. Everyone else has to buy shit. Um, but we're gonna start with ring mail for everyone. I'm just gonna. I thought when I was looking and I was buying stuff for Arthurian, thought that the leather armor was the best that they had, so I bought him leather. So he's gonna get some ring mail now, and I think we're just gonna trade the leather over to Honeydew if I can figure out how to do that. Take it off first. Trade. Be useful if I actually hit select instead of exit. You gotta be careful between using the enter key and the hotkeys for these games, because it'll tell you what the hotkey is for everything. See, it's kind of highlighted at the beginning of the word, and you can do that, but if you don't, it doesn't necessarily select what you think it will with the enter key. So if you're using enter, you kind of gotta watch what you're doing. I wish I could give Freya a fucking axe because she's a dwarf, but we'll just settle for a long sword and shield for right now. Get Honeydew a hoop axe since she's a Kender, and that's the Kender weapon of choice. It's a kind of a staff sling with an iron shod end. Um, I think it's much better than a regular old staff sling. Let's get Chrysania her mace and shield, and not gonna give her any armor right now because she is a mage, and mages cannot cast wearing armor even if they are multi-classed. Which I guess makes sense. It restricts your freedom of movement, and you need to be able to gesticulate and stuff to cast spells. If I can find some Elven Chain later on, that would be great, because Elven Chain is so lightly forged of Mithril that that Mithril with an A, not an I. Just Tolkien copyright issues, I guess. But Elven Chain is so lightly and finely forged of Mithril that you can move about quite freely in it as though you were just wearing robes anyway. So you can cast in that, but that's pretty rare. I don't know if we'll even find any in this game. I know you can start with it in the Dark Queen of Krynn, which is nice, and all my characters still end up dying anyway because they're fighting fucking dragons in the first battle. All right, let's make camp at the inn. I don't know why when you go to the inn, it shows you making camp as though you were out in the wilds, but whatever. Uh, Gonna get the lane first. No real necromancy spells at first level. Closest thing is sleep, and that's not really necromancy, that's enchantment. Some full frontal nerdity for you. I know the schools of magic and which spells belong to which. Grisania's cleric spells, and I don't like how it just lists the cleric spells and then the mage spells. It's like, all together like this instead of separate lists, because some of some of them are the same spells and you're not sure which is which sometimes or which belongs to which and how many you have left of each, and it's just kind of a little bit frustrating. Let's get our Therion ready. I love how all the cleric domains of the different gods in this game have different special spells that they get. Uh, I guess knights don't get any. I could have sworn that they got some cleric spells, but maybe he's not high level enough, or maybe that's just paladins. I don't know. Um, and I love how, depending on the phases of the moons, the mages get bonus spells, and I think also it changes how powerful their spells are just a little bit. Could be misremembering that, but I think we've got everything memorized here. Go ahead and save before we head out on our quest, because I don't want to have to go through all of this all over again if we lose in our first fight. I think we're ready to head out of town now. You're near an outpost. No, we don't want to go back to the town we just left. Thank you. It's a nice map. As you top a rise, you spot a caravan under attack. Draconians have already massacred the men and are now slaughtering the women and children. They pause when they see you, then rush to attack. Alright, our first fight. I love even though it's just pixel art, I love the artwork in D&D games. It's just always so good. I always love having my Kender yell or taunt at the very beginning of combat. I imagine she shot something along the lines of, "Your head looks like your neck threw up." Because that's what my older brothers and sisters told me they shouted. Or that was along the lines of the kinds of things that they would shout to taunt their enemies. I love the Kender taunt. It infuriates your enemies. It makes them all want to kill the Kender, and so I think they're more likely to try to get to the Kender, and I think that it also um, weakens their attacks, or like or it makes them less accurate. Maybe I think. Let's see. These are, I think, Boz Draconians? I always get Boz and Bozak mixed up, but I think Bozaks are the clerics and Boz are the fighters. Draconians are interesting opponents because when they die, they have these interesting death throes that are different for each species, which are all made from the eggs of different species of good metallic dragons, which have been corrupted by the powers of Takesis, the evil dark queen of chromatic dragons. Um, and the Boz Draconians have a tendency to turn to stone when they die, and sometimes it'll trap the weapon that you were using to attack them with when they die, and you lose it for the rest of the fight and have to pull it out at the end of the fight when they crumble. It's taken directly from the books. I think you can attack diagonally somehow. I think you might just have to click to attack diagonally. Because if you hit both the arrow keys at once, it'll just do one and then the other. But you can kind of use the mouse for combat in these games. I'm not sure if you can use it for much else, because honestly, the keyboard is more useful. Magic missile. Such a useful spell. Gets more powerful as it levels up. You can eventually just memorize so many magic missiles. Oof, that hurt. I'm gonna try not to die. That's the goal in any D&D fight, right? Try not to die. Let's see. Gotta bless everyone here. I don't think I can bless everyone, because bless doesn't have the range in this game that it does in later games. Yeah, I just blessed myself. Thanks, Chrysania. It's very, very generous of you. Very in the spirit of Mashakal. Um, I have everyone positioned about as well as I can right now. I'm just gonna keep wailing away at these Draconians until they eventually turn to stone! Hate it when I miss. But you miss so often in these early stages of the game. Especially fighting draconians. They're kind of a strong foe to be fighting in your first battle. Like, I mean, they're not necessarily that much worse than hobgoblins. They're not like, full dragons or anything, but they are they are tougher than hobgoblins. I'll give them that. And of course, you've got the fear that you'll lose your weapon if you end up killing one of them. See if we can. You know what? Thinking back, I don't know why I didn't flank that one. I don't even remember if flanking was a thing in second edition, but it just seems like common sense. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's see what. Oh, just sleep. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah, I've got characters right up against all the Draconians. I'm pretty sure sleep is a burst one, as they would say in fourth edition in this game. Um, so I'm pretty sure I'm about to accidentally put Braun and Chrysania to sleep along with these Draconians, and that's kind of why I'm hesitating here. But I mean, you know, what else are you gonna do? We've got these ones over here with Braun and Chrysania, and I got the other ones over there with Artharion and Freya. Just don't really have any good choices here. This is so frustrating. Because, like, okay, if you put when you put characters to sleep, they can be coup de grace in one hit, which I guess if as long as I put the Draconians to sleep, I don't have to worry about putting Chrysania and Braun to sleep along with them because the Draconians won't be able to attack. Yeah, and see these guys. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna have to do if I'm gonna cast this spell. I'm just gonna have to hope that these other ones busy with Artharion and Freya don't come over and slaughter Braun and Krisan in their sleep. Yep, there we go. Oh boy. Alright, well, now I can kill them in one hit, which is nice. And I think it's an auto hit. Yep. Sleep is an absurdly powerful spell for level 1. That being said, it has a limited amount of hit dice of monsters it will work on, so once you get farther into the game, it's not quite as powerful when you're facing more powerful enemies. But early on in the game, sleep is your friend. Much like it just is in real life. Sleep is your friend. Get 8 hours a night if you can. Good thing she's a fighter mage. I forget that sometimes because her her sprite just has a staff because I wanted to give her the robe, but and you can't combine a sword and a robe in these sprites. But she does have a long sword. It's kind of as close to a rapier as I can get, I guess. And technically, in third edition, elves could use long swords and rapiers and short swords, I think, regardless of what class they were. And that's when I first created Delane, was in third edition. She was not even multi-class to fighter then. She just was also a fencer and had a sword. Um, Eventually, when I made her in fourth edition, she was a necromancer cross class. Of course, that was our homebrew necromancer cross class with student of the sword, which gave her the nice ability armor piercing thrust, which I really loved because it I think it added your dexterity and your strength. I don't remember if it was to attack and damage or if it was just damage, but holy hell, it did a lot of damage when it hit, and it hit often. Um, I think we're done here. I hate how it makes you go through the characters in order after you've killed everything, just like doing nothing until it's like, hey, you want to continue this fight? Well, of course not. Everything's dead. All right, treasure. Woot! Best part of the fight. Let's see, we got 20 steel. Well, I guess it's nothing to sneeze at. Interesting that steel is the currency in Dragonlance. I guess just representing, that there's a war on. Steel is the most valuable thing, alright? The caravan lies in waste before you. The air is filled with the sounds of wailing women and children. All of the Draconians are slain, save one, who that's an Auroch, who rips a book from a dead man's hands. He turns to you and merely laughs, then he takes a step and disappears. Yeah, the Aurochs are the mages of the Draconian world, made from gold dragon eggs. One of the surviving women comes up. Brave warriors, will you help us reach the outpost? All our menfolk have died. Yes, we help them get experience. Sir Bronn has to give his tithe to the knighthood. Oh, that's right. If you have a knight, they're always giving away money. Um, I'm gonna go to the inn, and I think this is gonna be about it for this one. We're gonna save, and that'll be game for now. Thank you so very much for joining me on my dungeon quest. I am Lady Cat. Roll along and prosper.